When I was first diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, I had no idea how much this condition impacts every single part of your life. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to walk you guys through the unspoken true struggles of having severe dry eye disease so you're not blindsided like I was. So one way that you are going to be challenged after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease is with the reduction in your confidence, unfortunately. So when your eyes are constantly feeling irritated, red, twitching, and you're having itchy, burny sensations in your eyes, it is very common to feel a little self-conscious. You may catch yourself having negative thoughts like, I wonder if people notice how red my eyes are, or do people feel like I'm on some type of substance because of how red my eyes are? Or you may be thinking that people may feel like you look tired or sick because of just how your eyes look. I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. When I was first diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, for the entire year that I was diagnosed, I wore tinted shades. And I mean, the shades were like this black. And that was because I wanted to hide my eyes because I was blinking so much that first year being diagnosed that I didn't want people to be like all put by my new habits that I had developed after being diagnosed with this condition. Also, my eyes were red all the time. So I would walk around with shades this dark, even inside of rooms, not even outside on sunny days. I would be indoors walking around with those shades because I was so self-conscious about my new condition. Now, let me tell you about the problems of being hyper aware of your appearance. You start caring too much about what others think about you. You care about how you show up in the world. You care too much about what people are saying about you, how people think you look. You just care too much about other opinions that doesn't really matter. What really matters is your health and having positive thoughts in your mind, honestly. So my tip for getting over this challenge is to simply embrace the condition. For me, the best way I did it was by saying out loud, I have dry eyes. And because I have dry eyes, sometimes my symptoms are going to flare up. And admitting that to myself and giving myself and my condition grace really allowed me to take my power back in this entire situation and allowed me to show up in the best way that I could possibly show up with this condition. The honest truth is we unfortunately cannot control that we have this condition. But by accepting that you currently have this condition, you're able to embrace that side of you. So when you're in the world and your flare-ups happens unexpectedly, you're not shooketh because you already know you have this condition and you already know how you need to act and move forward with it. So another way that you're going to be negatively challenged after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease is with your isolation and a decrease in your social life. So before I was diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, I used to have a dating life. I had a thriving social life. I hung out with friends all the time. I went out on dates. I went to business-related events all the time. But all that changed after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease. After having that condition, it made it really difficult for me to go outside, especially because a lot of places that I used to frequent have AC vents. And even though that's a privilege because nobody wants to be anywhere where it's hot, when you have dry eyes, being in an environment that has AC blasting is the worst feeling ever because it flares up our symptoms. And after forcing myself to hang out with friends in bars that was super cold and had AC blasting, when I got home, my eyes would be dry and burning for hours. Now let's get into the psyche on why we tend to isolate ourselves after being diagnosed. So I believe that we do this because we equate avoidance with self-perseverance. So we think avoiding these environments that have AC blasting that hurts us physically, and we equate avoiding friend groups that makes us feel a little bit more self-conscious because now our eyes are red all the time and twitching because of the condition. We think by avoiding these things, we are creating a better quality of life for ourselves. By avoiding being in AC places, our symptoms are not going to flare up. By not hanging around groups of people that are going to notice if my eyes are red due to my dry eye symptoms, I am going to be preserving my confidence and my self-esteem. And in theory, I guess that's a solid way of thinking. However, I really want you guys to understand that the isolation that follows after you choosing to be avoidant hurts way worse than any symptoms dry eyes can give you. I will say that again. The isolation that is a result from you being avoidant hurts mentally way worse than any dry eye symptom can be. So one way that I overcame this challenge was by creating my own safe spaces. So back in the day, I would usually go out and hang out with my friends in other places. But now I just choose to invite people to my home. Why? Because if people are inside of my home, I'm able to dictate if the AC is going to be on, or, you know, the airflow, if the windows are going to be open, things like that. Now, I want to put the disclaimer out there that I do not have my friends hide at my home. They are cool. They do have AC, but, you know, it's a more controlled environment that I make sure that my eyes feel good. On top of that, I choose to communicate with people around me that I have dry eyes. Now, this is totally optional. If you're a private person and you don't want to tell people about your health, that's totally fine. In fact, when I was first diagnosed, I usually did not tell people about my dry eye diagnosis as well. However, I will say, once I finally chose to start being more open about me having severe dry eye disease, life got a lot more easier. Life just got easier. I was able to reclaim my power and my energy, and I was no longer suffering in silence. Ooh, that's what it was. I was no longer suffering in silence. Because I was trying to hide and be private about my condition, when things would happen, like I would be in a car with people and they would roll the windows down, I would want to tell them, can you please roll the windows up? It is really hurting my eyes, my dry eyes. But because I was hiding it and being private about that condition, I would suffer in silence and I would be in excruciating pain. So once I started opening up and telling the trusted people around me, hey, I have this condition. Can we do this, that, and the other in order for me to feel healthy and feel safe and feel good? They listened. They said, pretend this is your shoulder. They'll be like, absolutely, Tatiana. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. I'm going to make sure that I do what I got to do to make sure you feel safe and you feel good. So it's up to you, but I do recommend telling certain people, not going around telling everybody, but telling trusted people that you know you're going to be around often. Hey, I have this condition. Can we do A, B, C, and D to make sure I feel good? And if they love you and if they care for you, they're going to listen to you. Okay, so another challenge that was developed after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease was a fear of air and wind. Now, this one is very personal for me. In fact, I have not told anybody that I had this fear until today. So this is honestly so uncomfortable for me to even admit, but after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, air and wind physically hurt my eyes on a daily basis. Like air, just regular current in a room. And I don't mean like tornado winds. I mean standard current in air in a room physically causes my eyes excruciating pain on a daily basis. And I had no idea that this was impacting my psyche until I started realizing that I was avoiding wind at all costs. I stopped going on road trips with my family because I was scared of them rolling down the windows or turning on the AC because it was the summer and it was like 100 degrees outside and they wanted some air to cool them down. I stopped going to grocery stores because just going down certain aisles where the AC will be blasting would cause me so much pain. And I realized at one point that this fear of wind got so bad for me that I was once watching a random show on Netflix, and it was like a windy scene on that show, and I saw the wind on my TV. I wasn't even in that universe. I was just in my room in a safe space watching a windy scene on TV, and I flinched because the wind in that scene, I knew it was windy, and I realized at that moment that my body had gotten scared of air and wind. So one way that I was able to overcome this fear of wind was to repeat to myself that wind is not my enemy, it is actually my best friend. The truth is that we all need air to live. We need air and wind around us to breathe and be able to stay alive. We know this. So it becomes a very tricky and toxic relationship when you need air and wind in order to live and survive. However, that same thing that you need to live and survive is causing you excruciating like level 8, 9, and 10 pain on a daily basis to your eyes, which is also a part of your body that you also really need and you use on a daily basis. So it was honestly very tricky. Again, you need air to live and survive. However, that same air is hurting you. So I can see how I fell down that slippery slope of becoming scared of it, but I had to repeat to myself the saying that air is not my enemy. It's actually my friend. I need it to survive. So I cannot allow my mind to go down this spiral of fearing it. Even though it's causing me physical pain, I cannot give in to that fear and become scared of wind or allow myself to go deeper into this fear. I gotta stop that fear right here and do a U-turn. I will say another way that I was able to overcome my fear of wind is by purchasing better glasses that helped shield my eyes from wind. For instance, the glasses I'm wearing today, if you look closely, the glasses have side shields on the top, the sides, and the bottom. And what these side shields do is it shields my eyes from wind. So if you see it from the side, there's not a lot of room where wind could come in and reach your eyes, because also your eyes need to breathe. So you cannot walk around with goggles that completely shield your eyes from wind 100%. Your eyes need to breathe. So I like these glasses because not only are they stylish, they're very chic, it's giving very studious, but they do a great job with creating so much protection that protects your eyes from wind a lot. It gives you a lot of protection, and that's what I really like. I like that they're stylish, but they still have a tiny bit of space so your eyes can breathe and maintain its health. So yeah, if you like these glasses, I have these. I sell them on my website. I have a few other colors. I have pink, I have black. I really like how the black looks on me and on other people as well. I'll put the link right here, but it'll also be in my description if you want to just click the link and buy one. I highly recommend it. Okay, so another way that having severe dry eye disease has negatively affected my life is by my inability to wear eye makeup. Now, this one was probably the worst, the biggest impact in my life because I am a makeup girly. I used to always wear my makeup, and I did my makeup every day for school, when I was in high school, when I was in college. Even when I worked at the movie theater, like I worked a minimum wage job, but I always did my eye makeup because it was a way that I expressed myself. And it was a way that I boosted my confidence. Like when I did my eye makeup, I felt so beautiful and so confident and ready to like take ahead of my day and conquer the world. So after being diagnosed, I used to try to do my makeup after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease. I used to try to put on eyeliner. I used to put on mascara. I used to put on the fake lashes, and my eyes would be in so much pain, and I would just like force my eyes to deal with it because it was a big part of me that couldn't let that reality go, that I couldn't like partake in eye makeup anymore. But at some point I had to realize that I had to choose my overall health over, I guess, an aesthetic. Even though I really loved eye makeup, I had to let it go if it was negatively impacting my health. So I had to say goodbye to eyeliners, mascara, fake eyelashes, even concealer. I couldn't wear lower eye concealer no more. And even if I did wear concealer, I couldn't get too close to my waterline, because if any product touched that waterline, it can irritate your eyes, and you don't want that. So I went ahead and did a little bit more research on why eye makeup irritate our eyes so much, and here's what I found out. They basically say that some makeup products don't even have materials in there that are safe for us. So that's one way that makeup can like irritate us. But also when it comes to eye makeup, sometimes if you get too close to that waterline, which is, you got the bottom waterline right here and the top waterline right here. If you have your eye makeup get too close to that, it can block your glands, your oil glands, which would make your oil glands not release oil, which would mean that your eyeballs are not getting the oil that it definitely needs, which over time would dry your eyes out. Also, wearing eye makeup can worsen your inflammation in your body, especially if you're not using eye makeup for sensitive eyes. So my tip is, overall, if you can avoid it, I would recommend you not wearing eye makeup, because honestly, when you're not putting anything close to that area, you're gonna increase your chances of having a better dry eye day. But if you got a hot date, or you want to go hang out with some friends, or you just want to be pretty and express yourself with eye makeup, then I recommend you looking more into brands that create eye makeup for sensitive eyes. I actually have this mascara that I bought from this brand. It's called Tower 28. Tower 28 makes amazing products for sensitive skin, and this mascara is for sensitive eyes. I made a YouTube video, and I was talking about in that YouTube, I did a review on this product in a YouTube video that I posted not too long ago. If you guys, I recommend this one. I think it's really good. And if you guys want to see that video and see how it comes on, how it looks on your lashes, I'll put that video somewhere at the end of this one. But yeah, if you want to wear eye makeup, you can still do that. You can still do that. If you want to wear eye makeup, if you want to, pop out with the eye makeup, you can still do that. Just make sure you're doing your research and you're using non-toxic products. And just make sure that that product is made for sensitive eyes. So another challenge that having dry eyes creates in your life is by negatively impacting your entire quality of life. So when you hear somebody say, oh, I have severe dry eye disease, or I have chronic dry eyes, you may think, maybe that's like a minor inconvenience. I've probably never heard of the condition dry eyes. So most people don't think that having dry eyes is like anything major, but they're wrong. In fact, having dry eyes negatively affects the way you sleep. It affects your focusness. It affects your overall mood. It can affect your work, and it definitely affects how much you enjoy life. Take me, for example. Before being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, I was such a bubbly, outgoing, fun, energetic, social butterfly person. But almost immediately, I would say 2 months after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, I noticed a drastic change in myself. Even my family noticed it. I was constantly on edge, and I was nervous, and I was in pain, and I was uncomfortable, and I was edgy because I was always scared of the dry eye symptoms. And I just wanted a way for the symptoms to like go away. And that just affected the entire way that I showed up in life. Now, why does having dry eyes negatively affect their quality of life? Well, we have to remember dry eyes is a chronic illness. And unfortunately, having a chronic illness wears you down. There is no breaks from the discomfort that chronic illnesses give you. And because there's no breaks, sometimes that chronic illness constantly flaring up at the most unpredictable moments constantly can chip away at your joy. So the best way that I'm able to improve my quality of life is by creating routines that help me improve my dry eye symptoms. So for me, I have a killer night care routine, and I created a YouTube video that was showing my night care routine. So I can also add that to this video as well if you want to look at it. But whenever I do this night care routine, which is every night, most of the time when I wake up the next morning, my eyes feel amazing. And I'm not saying it's a 100% chance that if you do this, your eyes are going to feel good the next day. But I would say since I've been doing that night care routine, and I've been doing that for like a solid year, I have a lot better dry eye days. So try different things that work for you. Maybe you try a different treatment option, or you try a different medication and that works for you. All of this is trial and error. So honestly, finding what works for you is the best way that you can improve your quality of life. Again, you can't run away from a chronic illness. The best solution is to try things out and see what best improves your quality of life living with that condition. Okay guys, that is the end of the video. Those are all of the challenges that I faced after being diagnosed with severe dry eye disease, and I just wanted to educate or prepare others that are probably embarking on this new journey so they are not blindsided like I was. So if you are new to having severe dry eye disease, I want you to know that you are not alone, and what you are feeling is valid. Yes, this condition can take a lot out of you. But with the proper tools, the proper mindset, the proper routines, and the proper products for this condition, you can still live a very happy and prosperous and joyful life. Do not give up. Until next time, peace and love. Bye guys.